So today I want to share a few tips on working with soft flex, soft touch, and wire guards. So when I'm beading and I'm working with something small, when you're holding the pieces together, your fingers can get a little tricky. And then you have to pay attention to your pattern. So I like to use them in a bag. This way I can see the pattern as I'm going along, and I don't have to hold the pieces together, and I can do them at the same time, so that I can watch the pattern as I do it. And I don't have to worry about dropping them. Excuse my shaking. And then if I get interrupted and I need to put it down, I don't have to worry that they all come falling off. So then I just continue all the way up. Sorry, they're a little bit short. Oh. And I just go along like that. And then at the end of what I'm doing, I'm actually going to put them together. So now I'm finished with the whole beading part that I'm adding the pieces on. This, I have to put them together like this because I want both of them to go in. So then I put it together like this, back in the bag. As far down as I can. So then it's like this. And then I can try to get them in there a little bit easier. Sometimes twisting the bead around helps get them through both pieces. Like so. And then you take it out, pull it down, and nothing will come undone. So that's how I do it with something small. If I'm working with a larger piece, I brought an example for a bag. This way, if I put it down, I don't have to worry about anything coming off, and I get to watch my pattern as I go along. Alrighty, so at the end here, my initial idea was doing an earring. So then I decided to use a wire guard, make it nice and strong, and then I didn't have to worry about the shape of the end piece that I was working with, because it already gives you that shape. The thing is that I learned with these is that when you go to clamp them, you need to make sure that the rounded oval part that the wire goes like this is in the direction you want it to go before you clamp. Otherwise, like in this situation, I want it to go this way. If I'm not paying attention and I clamp it, it goes this way. So then the piece doesn't sit the way I need it to, like this. And then, so I'll clamp, but I will give myself with this particular piece a little bit of space in between the top bead and the bottom bead, so that when I go back through this side, this part's a little bit more trickier, but then you can go through there. Pull them. Because initially what I want to do is, once I get all this down here and I button it up pretty tightly, I want to be able to cut underneath here, but you need the space between this and this. So this has to move slightly so that you can clamp, so that this part is hidden once you clamp both pieces. And or if you don't want to clamp, you can continue. This, tighten it up on the one side. And then you hold it in place and pull. And then you have just enough space, you can cut right there. Let's see, I brought two because I wasn't really sure which one would fit best underneath this piece. I think this one should do. Maybe not. Okay, excuse me. Let me try this one. Some can be sharper than others. There we go. And then pull the piece down. You need to get in tighter. Sometimes you can stick it right in between the bead. So in this situation, I didn't really have to clamp the piece. It just worked out better this way. But in the event that you wanted to clamp, I have a piece here. The only problem is it doesn't have that. And you can button it up with anything else that you want to do. I just thought this looked a little bit more on the professional side. And then for the earring, I like to use my fingers with most things that I can instead of so many tools. And this is how I came up with a simple little earring. Sometimes when you're looking at something and you start a project, every once in a while you think of something else. So looking at these, I came across coming up with another idea. Also speaking with other friends, coming up with ideas. So here's one where instead of it being an earring, you can turn it into a charm that you can hang on a purse, just like this, depending on what you like. It's just ideas. You don't have to use these type of beads. Also, I had some leftover chain. I was working with the project. I like the pattern as the earring, so I also decided with a swivel lobster claw, you could also use them on the end of necklaces. So then you can do this. So then you have a set, a nice necklace with a pair of earrings, and then a bag to match. And these are just a few tips and ideas.